I've got things going on. Hello everybody, it's Tom here. I hope you're all well. Today we're going to discuss the phrase I'm hearing a lot at the moment in the workplace. And that is one of, I've got a lot going on outside of work that's affecting me. Before I start, I don't want any of you to think I'm harsh. If you do, that's your opinion and you're entitled to it. But I'm telling you now, I'm a human being with a heart. I'm a decent bloke. But it annoys me that people are coining this all the time as an excuse to perform poorly or be distracted at work. Everybody, I repeat, everybody has got life outside of work, has got stuff going on. Okay? Some people more than others. Some people have families, some people have relationship issues, some people have mental health issues, as I've had. And, you know, everyone's busy. And yes, there is multiple facets to be distracted by. But when you're in the workplace, you're there to work. And I say it again, and I know some may think I'm a bit of a stickler for rules, but I've got to say it. When I'm at work, I'm fully focused on the job I do. When I'm not at work, I'm not focused on the job. I'm focused on what I'm doing outside of work. And people need to learn to stop being distracted. Okay, I'm going to say this now. Sometimes certain things is just too overwhelming. It's too overwhelming to be in work. I had a phone call the other day from one of our drivers, and he said that his daughter had been taken into hospital. That is an absolute acceptable, more than acceptable reason to go home. And I didn't even hesitate. I says, right, get yourself back, and you go and you make sure your daughter's all right. And I could hear the guilt in his voice. Oh, I'm sorry. No, need to be sorry, mate. Family comes first, okay? That is totally fine. I would much rather that man go home and see if his daughter's okay, go to hospital, than stay in work, be distracted, and struggle to do his job, okay? That's the right thing to do. But then there are other people that come to work and they are literally on the phone every 2 minutes, checking Facebook every couple of seconds. They're not focused on the job. And when you pull them up about it, when a manager, I'm not a manager, but when say my manager would say, well, what's the issue? They suddenly allude to something at home. And I'm not saying it's an excuse, but what I am saying is this, is if whatever's going on at home is proving too much of a distraction for you to focus on your job, then don't come into work. You'll find that most employers now will have to help you. If you've got an issue going on, support you in a way that may mean you may need to take a bit of leave to clear your mind. Absolutely, do that. Don't come to work, struggle through the day, and then when things ain't working, blame it on that. I've got stuff going on as the same as everybody. I have had, as you know, a very rough 6 years at times. And there's been times when I could quite easily have just blamed everything on my circumstances outside of work, but I didn't. The majority of the time I tried to get through and do the job that I was there to do. Sometimes it proved too much, and perhaps in the past I should have taken my own advice, which I know now in hindsight, as it's such a wonderful thing, to actually have not been in work, to have taken some time off to try and get my head straight. Or at least get into a stage where I was able to separate my personal strife from what I was trying to do. When I come to work, and it's, no matter what is going on outside of work, no matter how big it is, I switch off from it. I'm able to separate myself from it. Should I feel overwhelmed, I would turn around to my boss and ask for that time off. I wouldn't come into work, try and struggle through, which I think is amicable, somebody trying to just get on with it. But ultimately, if it's proving too much, don't come into work. If it's affecting the quality of what you do, don't come to work. I'm not a boss, but if I was, I would be adamant that I need you to be focused on what you're doing to do the good job. And anything less than that, I don't want you in work. Okay? And multiple people, my company, have turned round and alluded to something outside of work affecting their performance. That's fine. But if it's proving too much, as I've just said for the third time, don't come into work. Have that time to get into a headspace where you're able to focus and not be affected by it so much. Alright, it's always going to be there in the background, but don't allow it to be bigger than perhaps what it is you're trying to do. You need to be able to focus on what you're doing. Focus on the task in hand, okay? Work for me is a distraction. It's a distraction from the everyday trials of life which I have to put up with outside of work. I'm grateful that I go to work, that I can, for 9 or 8 hours, however long it is I'm at work, I can switch off from what's going on outside. I don't have to worry about my personal circumstances because I'm fully focused and fully online with what I have to do when I'm in work. It's the same when I'm outside of work. I don't think about work. I don't give it a second thought. And I think we need to learn, and people need to learn, to be able to switch focus. If you remember a few weeks ago, I did a video about the different roles that we play, like some of us are fathers, some of us uncles, aunts, cousins, whatever. And then, obviously, mothers and fathers. I also said that there's probably one in there for being a worker, and there is. There has got to be a version of you, a type of person that you are, whereas you are fully focused on the task in hand. And you need to learn to deviate from that. So, food for thought here today, guys. I'm not criticising anybody for having a life outside of work. Please don't think that. You're all entitled to a life outside of work. And yes, things can happen. Bad things can happen sometimes to very good people. I've seen it. But if you're really struggling to focus on the job and get the job done to the standard required, I would 100% approach your employer and say, look, I need some time out. Don't go to work and try and struggle through and be distracted by it, because that's no good for anybody. You'll be distracted, you won't perform your job properly, and it'll upset your employer. So have the decency to know when it's becoming too much and don't be distracted. Or literally, switch focus, as I said. Guys, first of 3 videos this week. I want to say thank you all ever so much for listening. I really appreciate your time and energy spent here on my channel. Thank you kindly. First of 3, as I said, put down in the comment section below. We've all had things going on sometimes outside of work that has proven too much. It takes bravery, I think, and total honesty in yourself to turn around and go, I can't carry on. And not be embarrassed by it. Employers have to support their employees now with mental health related things. So do not be afraid to ask for help sometimes. You'll be surprised. Remember to hit that subscribe button down below. Please leave me a thumbs up and a like, and let's hear that bell sign go ding dong so you know when my next content's out. Back in a couple of days with another video, but until then, as always, please take care of yourselves and bye for now.